In lesson 10, we're going to be going from nets to surface area. So if you look at the opening exercise, it's just going to remind us of some of the formulas that we've already worked with. So it asks us to write numerical expressions, so that just means with numbers, for the area of each figure below. Explain and identify different parts of the figure. So I know if I want to find the area of a triangle, I would want to multiply my base, which would be this right here, and my height. Remember, your base and your height meet at those right angles. So this side and this imaginary line here are our height and our base. So our base, that's just what it means, identify the different parts. This would be our base, would be found by doing 5 plus 9 to get a total length of this side as 14. Now the height is from here to here, and that's showing us it's 12. So our height is 12. So we would do our 14 times our 12 and then divide it by 2. So when I do 14 times 12, I get 168, and then I would have to divide that by 2. Remember, we said that the triangle's formula comes from half of a rectangle, so you're doing basically your length times width divided by 2. And when I do that, I end up with 48. Okay, well, there's my first error. 168 divided by 2, let me show my work, is actually going to be 84. Okay, so it would be 84 and then square centimeters. Okay, so now it's just asking how would I write an equation that shows the area of a triangle with base B and height H. Basically, it's just asking for a formula. We would be doing the area equals the base times height divided by 2. Or, remember, we've also looked at that formula as area equals 1/2 times the base times the height. They get you the same result. Okay, same idea with the next one. It wants us to find the area of the figure. It is a rectangle, so we would be multiplying our length and our width. So we would be doing our 28 times our 18. If we do 28 times 18, I guess I should probably either use my calculator this time so that I can make sure I'm actually doing my math correctly and not backwards like I did on the last one. So 28 times 18 gives us 504. Okay, and I could show my steps, but I chose to use the calculator. So 504 square feet. Now, again, it wants us to write an equation that shows the area of a rectangle with base B and height H. So again, we can just replace length and width with base and height. It is the same idea. If you were to think about it, if we were to split this into two right triangles, and this was our right angle for our base and our height, base and height, or base and height, doesn't matter which. So we would write it as area equals base times height. Length and width, base and height are interchangeable. Okay, so that's just a little refresher. What we're going to look at now is surface area, and it's asking us to calculate the surface area of the figure. So as you notice, this is a net of a rectangular prism, and surface area is the area of all surfaces of a figure. Okay, so the front, the back, the top, the bottom, and the two sides, we would find the area of each of those surfaces. So in a net, it really helps us to show this. And what we would have to do here is just find the area of each of the rectangles, so the sides, the top, the bottom, the front, and the back, and then add them all together. So if I were to do this one, this is a 2 by 1 rectangle, so its area is 2. This is a 2 by 2 rectangle, so its area is 4. This is a 1 by 2 rectangle, so its area is 2. If you notice over here, we have the same size, so 1 by 2 is 2. Down here, we have another 2 by 1 rectangle. Again, interchangeable, 1 times 2, 2 times 1. And then down here, another 2 by 2. So now if I just add all of their areas together, that will give me the surface area. So I am going to do 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 4 plus 4. So if you notice, 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 8, and 4 plus 4 is also 8. So 8 plus 8 gives me a surface area of 16 square units. And it is square units because it is an area. Okay, and we say units when we don't know what the measure is. So if it doesn't tell us it's inches or centimeters or feet or whatever, we just write the word units. Okay, so that's the first example. So again, surface area, find the area of each surface, add them together. Okay, so for the next one, we are looking at a a square pyramid. So with this, what we're going to do is find the area of each. So I'm going to start by finding the dimensions and our base and our height for our triangle. So with our square, which I can look at and see it's a 3 by 3, so I know that this is going to be 3 times 3 or 9 because length times width. And then for each of the triangles, I really need to, and I'm going to really recommend doing this for each one of these, make sure I am counting out my base and my height, because sometimes the triangles are all going to be the same size and sometimes they will not. So I'm going to use this as my base, this as my base, this as my base, and this as my base, because I can take my base and draw a line to the opposite vertex at a right angle. So the base here is 1, 2, 3, and my height is 1, 2. Okay? On this triangle, again, from the base to the vertex, forms that right angle. I've got 1, 2, 3, and I should know this because each one of these is going to be 3, since each side of the rectangle is, or the square is 3. And then my height here is 1, 2, so same size here. For here, it's 1, 2, again, same size. And for here, it is also 1, 2. Now just be careful because they will not always be the same height. So you really have to make sure that you are counting it out. Okay, so the triangles are all the same size. So I like to kind of work to the side and do my areas for each. So area of a triangle formula is base times height divided by 2. So my base for each one is 3, my height is 2, and then I'll divide by 2. So I wind up with 6 divided by 2, or 3. Now that's for one triangle. We have 4 of the same size triangles. So I'd be doing 4 times 3 to get their total, which is 12. So all the triangles together, this one, and this one, and this one, have an area of 12. For the square, we already kind of did it. Area equals length times width. I fully recommend showing your work with the formula. 3 times 3 is 9. So all together, I would add my 12 plus my 9 for my surface area. So I'm finding the area of each part and then adding them together and getting 21 square